Question number 1 uses a picture on the right, and we are told in the instructions that C is the midpoint of FA. And number 1 says that if Y is the midpoint of Fn, then CY is parallel to AN. And you're told to find if this is a true or a false statement. So we do know already that C is the midpoint of the segment AF, and we know that Y is the midpoint of Fn. Now according to Theorem 5-11, it says that the segment that joins the midpoints of the two sides of a triangle, which is what's happening in this case, that will be parallel to the third side. So that is what we have, and number 1 should therefore be a true statement. Question number 2 is saying that CY is equal to 1/2 AN, and we are told to see if this is a true or a false statement. So CY is this segment right here, and AN is this segment right here, and we are told to prove that CY is equal to 1/2 AN. Now the only way for CY to be 1/2 of AN is if the segment CY is going to both midpoints. So CY is going to one midpoint, this midpoint right here, that's given to us in the instructions, but we do not know for sure if Y is the midpoint of this segment Fn. So therefore we do not have enough information, and the answer to number 2 should be false. Number 3 says that CY is parallel to AN, so CY is this segment right here, and AN is this segment right here, and we are trying to see if Y is the midpoint of Fn, this segment here. So we know from Theorem 5-10 in the textbook that a line that contains the midpoint of one side of a triangle and is parallel to another side passes through the midpoint on the third side. So that's what we have. We have this line CY passing through the midpoint of this segment right here and is parallel to the second side AN. So then therefore it must pass through the midpoint on this third side Fn. So Y would be the midpoint of Fn, and 3 would be true. Question number 4 says that CY, this segment, is parallel to AN, this segment, and we're trying to see if CP, this segment here, is equal to YQ, this segment right here. So we know from Theorem 5-8 that if two lines are parallel, then all the points on one line are equidistant from the other line. So that's what we have. We have CY is parallel to another line AN, so any point on this line, CY, must be the same distance from AN as any other point. So if C is a certain distance from the one line to the other, then Y would also be the same distance from this line to the other, AN. So the answer to number 4 should be true. This is question number 5 from the worksheet, and we're given the following information. And we're also told that M and N are the midpoints of AB and CB. So because M and N are the midpoints of their sides, then we know that MN is going to be half of AC. And we know this from Theorem 5-11 in the textbook. Now if M right here, this point, is indeed the midpoint of AB, then we know that this segment from B to M, which in this case is 3y minus 8, is going to be equal to the distance from M to A, which is 2y, or 2 times y plus 1. So we can set up an equation where those are equal to each other. 3y minus 8 equals 2, if we distribute we get 2y plus 2. We solve this for y by subtracting 2y from both sides. We're going to get y minus 8 equals 2. We add 8 to both sides and we get y equals 10. So y is going to equal 10. And then to find x, what we do is we know that 3x minus 10, so this segment AC, is going to be twice the length of MN, this segment here. So if I take 2 times the length of MN, which is x plus 5, and then I set that equal to 3x minus 10, those are going to be equal. So I have this equation that I can solve, where I get 2 x plus 10 after I distribute, equaling 3x minus 10. I solve for x by subtracting 2x from both sides, and you get 10 equals x minus 10. And I add 10 to both sides, and you get x equals 20. So we know that x would equal 20 and y would equal 10. For number 6 with this triangle, the instructions are the same, where m and n are the midpoints of AB and CB, and we're told to find the values of x and y. So if m is the midpoint of AB, then we know that AM right here is 12, MB is 3y plus 3. Those are going to be equal to each other. So I can say 12 equals 3y plus 3. And that's because m is the midpoint. So when we solve this for y, we can add or subtract 3 from both sides. We get 3y equals 9. Solve for y by dividing both sides by 3. I'm going to get y equals 3. Now we just need to find x. Now we're told that m and n are both the midpoints. So therefore, we know from Theorem 5-11 in the textbook that mn is going to be half the length as AC. So if I take mn and double it, so 15 times 2 is going to give me 30. That's going to equal the same length as 5x plus 5. So I set them equal to each other, have my equation. I can subtract 5 from both sides. I get 5x equals 25. Then divide both sides by 5, so x is going to equal 5. So my answer is x equals 5 and y equals 3.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.